very excited about this one. This is perfect for the new year, Start out with a vision board. I love vision boards. I did my first vision board ever, probably, I want to say maybe 6, 7 years ago. Went to a vision board workshop and I was hooked after that, especially because I like being able to play with scissors and glue and
Indeed. Indeed. That's the beauty of it. It can get you really sort of channel that inner creative.
yes.
And it's really interesting, Sarah. Sarah recommended me read a book called The Women Who Run with Wolves. And they talk about
Yes.
craft. I'm only in the early few pages, but she's talking about sort of that crafting, and it's using your hands, isn't it? I mean, it's all very well having all this tech, which is great, but when you actually get down to it and you've got paper and pictures and you can work very intuitively, it's really magical.
It is amazing.
And
So we've
calming. I
gathered
find it
all these
really calming.
amazing, yes, right? Yes, especially when you get into that zone. I tend to be a very busy person with the technology, so it's nice to have something to focus on to bring me out of that. And I definitely don't do enough of that.
Yeah, getting out
Hello,
of
Juani. I saw Juani was in Alejandro's live just before. And Juani, I know how to say your name now because I heard him ask. All right, so we're going to get started. These teachers are all going to share with you different vision board techniques that they've used, and we're going to, be doing it as we go along. I can't because I have to run this open broadcasting software that enables us to collaborate. And when I do that, I do not touch anything on my computer because more often than not, it makes something go off, and then we're in trouble. So I won't be working on a vision board. I've got some that I've done that I'm happy to share. But we are going to start by introducing everyone who's here. And I am going to stop from the bottom. And Sarah is completely new to me. She is actually a friend of, and Melanie's not here today because she's teaching. I meant to say that. She's teaching a class. And Sarah is a new teacher, Sarah O'Brien. I have to specify. I'm sorry, we have 3 Sarahs. So I should have assigned them all numbers. But Sarah O'Brien is a friend of Melanie's and a new teacher. And I'm so excited to get to know you, Sarah. So I'm going to let you unmute and introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. I am so thrilled to be here. Welcome, my fellow guides, and welcome to everybody who's tuning in. So psyched to spend this time with you. And I don't know, I'm wondering how many of you used to be like me that was like vision board, schmision board? Like, did anybody else poo-poo on the vision boards? Because I used to totally not be on board. And I always say that that's like my sort of intro to meditation and mindfulness. But I was like, who has time for vision boarding? And now I'm like, oh, yes, please. Oh, yes, please. And more. I'm Sarah O'Brien Hammond. I am a career and life transition coach. I split my time between New York City and Vermont, where it's snowing beautifully today. And love this community. And as Violet mentioned, I'm new to the Insight Timer community and just thrilled to be here today. So thank you for holding this space, and thank you for everybody for joining us today.
And welcome. I'm excited to see what you're going to be doing on Insight Timer.
Thank you. I'm just started with leading some meditations, and there's more to come for sure. So excited to get the ball rolling.
Awesome. Always nice to meet a new teacher. We love new teachers. And Diana, are you there? I just see her picture.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, she was very still.
I thought it was your picture.
No, I wasn't too active in the beginning.
That's fine. That's fine.
Everyone, I'm very happy to be here. I'm feeling this creative vibe. I cannot wait to start creating my vision board on my computer. It is usually a digital one. And yes, my name is Diana. I am a teacher here on Insight Timer. I'm also a mind-body connection coach. And a lot in my work, I am based on science, including neuroscience. So that is what I will be talking about today, giving a little speech on the neuroscience behind vision boards and manifestation. I'm really excited to share all of it with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you. And Fátima.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Violet. It's so kind to have amazing teachers together, as you always do. My name is Fátima Teixeira. I'm from Portugal. I'm a sound healer and professional musician for more than 20 years already. I have a very powerful story to share about my vision board, about a picture that I took from Google, and then I manifested work on that exact place that was on the picture. So I'll be sharing that throughout the live, and I'm very excited. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. I'm excited to hear about that.
Me too.
And I'm going to move on to Sarah Brown. Pronounce your last name for me, Sarah. Sarah
Haté.
Brown. Haté.
Yeah, Sarah
Okay,
Brown is fine.
I didn't want to say hate because, I'm like, wait, no, there's an accent and I'm Spanish, so I know accents.
Thank you, Violet. Hi, everybody. I'm so thrilled to be here. This is my first live with you on Insight Timer. I've actually been a teacher on Insight Timer for quite a few years, but I haven't populated my profile much. So 2025 is the year I do that. And it's not even on my vision board, but that's going to be done. So yeah, as Violet said, my second name is actually French. It's Haté. There's an accent on it. And I have been called Mrs. Hate so much in the past because I am English, as you can hear, and I live in France. But anyway, I am a soul-based healer and mentor, and I write soul in capital letters because the S is for self, the O is for others, the U is for universe, and the L is for life. And basically, I work with empathetic women to bring them back to their soul. And it begins with the S, which is themselves. And I have very many modalities that I can help them with.
Beautiful. I love that. Sarah Naylor.
Better unmute myself. That doesn't happen very often. I'm usually being trying to be muted. Hello, it's great to be back. I'm Sarah Naylor. I'm an Insight Timer teacher, and you'll find I've got about 10 courses on here and about 25 tracks. So I was new to it a year ago, and it's been absolutely brilliant. And I was live on New Year's Eve with Violet and the gang, which was brilliant. So it's great to be back and live again. So yeah, I'm an executive coach and a mentor and tend to work with leaders, teachers, guides, and helping them across all areas of their life. I mean, Sarah's already mentioned coaching and career coaching. I've 36 years in recruitment, so I intertwine that into business and spirituality and energy, and that's really what you get with me, is lots of energy and upbeat enthusiasm and a desire to live the best life and the happiest life, which is what I'm doing, and which is what I've manifested from my vision boards. So it's great to be here talking all things vision board, because they are magical things when you get that time to do them. They're good fun. And for those of you who are in the UK, it's a bit like being back with Blue Peter. So bit of glue and stick. Thank you, Violet.
Awesome. Jocelyn, I'm going to move on to you last, only because I asked Jocelyn to lead us in a meditation before we get started. So I'm going to move over to Lauren.
Okay. Thank you so very much for having me here, Violet, and putting this all together for us. And hello to everyone out there. I'm Lauren Foster. I'm a happiness coach and spiritual mentor. And I did my first vision board way back when The Secret first came out a quadrillion years ago. So I have been a fan ever since. But I am currently transient. I last year sold everything and am currently traveling the world. So everything I own must fit in one backpack. Therefore, there is no physical vision board, but I love vision boarding digitally on my computer, and have some things to share about that, and about your vision board is about how you want to feel and how you want to be, because we attract what we are, right? And if your vision board helps you to feel like the fit, beautiful, hip, savvy, successful, loved, fantastic person that's living your best life, then it helps you get there. So I'm thrilled to be here, and I can't wait to see what everybody else is creating.
Thank you. And Shauna Ray.
Last but not least, I'm Shauna Ray, and I'm in Ontario, Canada, rural Ontario, Canada, where it's minus 15 degrees and snowing beautifully today. And I am a teacher here on Insight Timer. I do journaling sessions, live journaling sessions. I'm a former radio broadcaster, journalist, newspaper and magazine columnist. And now I'm spiritually awake. And you mentioned The Secret, and I think that's where I started thinking about vision boards. I think I remember Jim Carrey saying he carried around $1 million check in his wallet for many years. And I think for me, that combined with The Secret made me think, how do I manifest that for myself? And I'm a visual person. And so vision boards have always been something I used to do collages as a kid for my mom. And when I was in college, I didn't have a lot of money. So I'd put a collage together for a relative to give as a gift. And so collaging is something that I love. And I do want to mention, I mentioned it to Violet, that vision boards can also be audio. And I mean sounds that get you into the vibration or the energy of where you want to be or how you want to feel. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Violet. And I'm so honored to be in the company of all of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. And I'm so glad you mentioned Jim Carrey because he had such an impact on me as well. I love that you brought that up. And the audio, I think that's an awesome idea. So we're going to have to get into that too. And I'm going to move over to Jocelyn. Jocelyn, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then I'm going to let you lead us in a meditation because Jocelyn did a vision board workshop the other day, and I just happened to catch it and loved it and immediately messaged her and was like, "Are you free on Sunday? Can you join us?" So thank you so much for coming and accepting my invitation at the last minute.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. Shauna, that reminds me just what you were saying about audio vision boards. It reminds me to think of like the Kaleidoscope movies. I don't know if anyone here has done like the Joe Dispenza Kaleidoscope movies. It's very similar. You're using music and you're using kaleidoscopes, and it's kind of like a movie version of vision boards, which is super cool. I love all vision boards. I'm Jocelyn, and I am a soul art guide and yoga nidra guide, Akashic Records guide, human design coach. I was also an expressive art therapist for many years, intermodal. So I've been doing vision boards since probably 1992, and I love them. I've done so many variations of them, from movies to, we were talking in the comments, Procreate, to like live huge installations, and I just love it. Part of my thing, my idea of vision board has, it's transformed through the years. Originally, when I started doing vision boards, it was like, okay, I want to get this, I want to get that, I want to get this, and that's how I started it. And I'm at the point in my life where vision boards are more about what the workshop I just ran the other day was soul inspired vision boards, where it comes from your soul first and then you work with it in a different way. So I've cut like I've had an evolution of vision boards. My life. I did bring a bunch to show later because I have so many. I have so many. But I just love it. And actually, I don't even do just vision boards on the first day of the year. I do them throughout the year whenever I have a new project or a new thing going on. But yeah, so just thinking like doing a small meditation. For me, when I do vision boards, I like to understand what are my expectations that I already have. And if we're doing this as the year, like what are the expectations that you already have for 2025? Like what is it that's already there, and what are you already putting, what colors are you already painting on it, right? So we'll do a little bit of a meditation, just relaxing into the body and just allowing anything to bubble up about your expectations you already have, that you've already put on this year. Because sometimes when I think about expectations, vision boards, we often do like, I was talking about this in the vision board I ran, we often go for $150,000 or this kind of a pay raise. And those expectations limit us. What if you were meant to be making $1 million? Well, maybe it wasn't meant to come through work. Maybe it was meant to come through something else. So just understanding what you're already have painted on this year, because already, what is it, the 5th? We've had five days to paint it out already. So just allowing yourself to, wherever you are, just sit back. Maybe you want to lay down if it's somewhere it's really easy for you to lay down. You can get
I
the
want to lay
wiggles out.
down.
Yeah, lay down. Get the wiggles out, like really feel into any part of your body that is being supported. So if you're laying down, it might be your back, your lower back, your head. If you're sitting up or sitting back in a lazy chair, you're going to feel maybe your your hip bones, and I'm just going to move myself as I'm talking about it, and maybe your thighs, really getting that support. But just allowing yourself to bring your attention and awareness inward and witnessing where in your body you are being supported right now, and just allowing that to be witnessed. And then slowly bringing your awareness to your breath and not trying to manipulate it, not trying to change it, just noticing like each inhale and noticing each exhale. I was speaking earlier about the breath as a wave, you know, that tide that comes in and out. There's no beginning and end. But if you can witness the inhale into the exhale, the expansion into the contraction, with no judgment, just witnessing it, you might notice where it moves your body, or you might notice how deep it is, if it's shallow, and it's all okay. Just allowing it to move through your body. And then just bringing your awareness gently to the top of your head, just thinking of it as almost like a drop into a still lake, and those ripples of attention and awareness that expand outward. And allowing your awareness to come down to the center of your forehead. Just like a little drop of awareness, and the ripples gently moving outward. And you might bring your attention and awareness to your eyes and the globes of your eyes and all the tiny little muscles behind your eyes. Allowing your awareness to shift and gently drop down to the back of your tongue. To the inside of the right cheek and the inside of the left cheek. Allowing the ripple of your awareness to gently move toward the center of the throat. Expanding out inner ripples. And allowing your awareness to move to the shoulders, the back of the shoulders, the front of the shoulders, down your arms all the way to the tips of your fingers. Allowing your awareness to drop right into the center of the heart space. Your awareness rippling out, expanding out from the center of the heart. And allowing your awareness to gently drop into the solar plexus, the navel center, and the sacral center, and the root center. Those ripples expanding outward from the center of the root, allowing your awareness to gently ripple out from your hips, the back of your hips, sides of your hips, the fronts of your hips, all the way down your legs to the tips of your toes. And allowing your awareness to settle on the bottoms of the feet. And just allowing that to let go. And as I just speak a little bit, allowing the year of 2025 to come forward for you. Noticing what images, expectations, colors, people, events, sounds, what comes up for you as you allow 2025 to enter into your awareness. What's there for you now already? Just allowing the idea of this year ahead of us rippling out with our awareness. What have we already placed within it? You might be aware of words or songs or sounds, colors. And just for a minute, bringing your awareness back up to your heart and connecting with what your heart wants to paint across 2025. Is there any color, sound, word, person, experience that wants to be painted across 2025 from your heart? Allowing it, anything you pick up, whether it's a color or a word or a sound or a knowing, allow it to ripple outward. You might even breathe into it to expand it. And exhale and contract it right to that center point. Inhaling into it, allowing it to expand even further, and exhaling back to the pinpoint. And just for a moment, be there with whatever's coming up for you. Just witnessing it. You're not trying to change it. Just like with our breath. You're just witnessing what's being brought forward for you. And when you're ready, you can just start to deepen your breath, inhaling through your nose and opening your mouth and exhaling out. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. And then inhaling through your mouth one more time and through your nose. And on the exhale, you might want to bring some sound to it. You might want to wiggle a little. You might want to take notes in maybe what came up for you, what colors, images, words. Just have a little bit of a side note for yourself.
It's fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
Patty says, inner ripples is my new favorite phraseology. I love that.
Oh, that's like what I was saying in my vision board. The ripples are, it's my year of ripples. I
Nice.
think it's the oneness, right? It's, I love it.
All right, so we can get started if I was thinking I would love to hear everybody, all the teachers, while some of us are working, maybe the others could chat. I love to hear the different ways that everyone approaches vision boards, because I know there's so many different ways, like Jocelyn mentioned, the audio, so many that you can do it digitally, you can do it on paper. So I just want to have a conversation about the different ways that we do vision boards. So feel free to jump in and chat about that.
I have to say, I like to be, like I said right at the beginning, really practical, because I quite like to get away from tech and be visual and creative and hands-on. And I'll be honest, I do need to do a new one, but the ones that I've done in the past, it's always when you put it on there and you've spent that time, there's that energy, your energy going through it, and you've created things. And then you can put them to one side, because the thing is to have them somewhere, but you don't need to be seeing them and looking at them and concentrating on them. It's that energy that you put out. So I
have my first one still sitting by my desk, this was the
Oh.
first one I ever did.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I am not an artistic person at all, so I like the idea of being able to just cut out pictures and glue and
that's the beauty of it, Violet. It's when I was trained, and I'm sure Sarah, because we both were trained as coaches by the same training provider, and I did my very first vision board was aspects of you, and it's about collecting images that represented you and how you felt. And these days it's again, I very much work along those lines. But when I've put things together, this is one of mine. But that's one, and this is another one on the other
nice.
side. So I like to use my cardboard, but I've got which one's this one? Strong mind, which eat smart, the joy of flex. I like that on there. Born to be wild. There's another one that I've got. Oh, I think this is my more recent one. But we've got Summer by the Sea. Well, I relocated to the coast a year ago, so I've always got Summer by the Sea. Hey, but I remember doing one prior to those, and it got India and got all of it, and all of it manifested. It's just a great way of putting the energy out there. And as I say, when I'm talking about setting intentions, you don't need to keep on banging on about them. It's setting that image, that energy out there, because you wouldn't go into a department store and stand there going, right, well, I want some jeans. I want some jeans. I want some jeans. I want some jeans. Well, yes. You put your order out, and yeah, it's being mindful as to what comes back. Because actually, if you said you wanted a red car, you might find you get a toy car turn up. So you got to be a bit specific as well. But yeah, for me, I like the creativity. I like getting the magazines out. I like doing the cut, stick, and paste, and just getting all the images together, and then just playing around with them later and sticking them down. So that's my way of doing things, anyway.
Rishi has a question. Rishi, if it's a question related to vision boards and one of us can answer, but we're not necessarily talking to spirit, or at least I'm not. So I see Rishi has a question. Go ahead and ask your question. Joanne says, I've done my 2025 one with all things I want to manifest for the year, and it's sitting in my art room where I can see it every day. Yeah, I like having it nearby where I can see it. I actually keep mine in my window, because when I'm working, which is where I'm sitting right now, I'm facing my window, so I keep it there. So when I glance out the window, I see it.
I'll tell you what, in terms of other kinds of visions, for visualization, I've got my podcast, but I've got a world map, and I'll put all pins on there. So that's again a kind of a visual, because I'd like to go eventually and visit all the locations where it's been downloaded. So that's another another way of sort of drawing things into you as well. It's just having that reminder, isn't it? It's that energy that you're sending out
Yeah.
there.
Well, that's one of the reasons I do like doing one digitally. And I've only started doing that this year is because I have it on my phone and I can look at it if I'm out, sometimes. And Lauren, didn't you say you do one digitally as well? Talk a little bit about that, Lauren, for our digital people.
Okay, there is this new program that's called My Mind, and it allows you anytime you come across something that you're enchanted with, you can just click it and it will save it and organize it in this beautiful little, is it possible to share my screen?
Yeah, well, you can try. I don't know if OBS will let you. We tried it, but go ahead, give it a shot. It might work. We might see it in the Zoom, but I don't know if they're going to see it because of OBS. It's weird the way it works.
Okay,
Yeah, no, it's not being shown
So
on the thing on Insight Timer.
still,
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't figured out why that. I know that you can set up like a separate screen for that, but I wouldn't be able to do that here.
gotcha. Okay. Well, so anyway, you can open it up and it just shows you everything that you've been thinking about and looking at, or you can just say, show me the pictures about fitness. And my pictures about fitness are of rock climbing,
Mhm.
of skydiving, of doing these beautiful physical things that are the reason why you want what you want. So we think we want money, but we don't want money because of money. Money has no value except for what it can do for us, like, experiences and freedom. And so if the representation of what it is that you really want is what you put on your vision board, then that leaves the universe all this room to work, right? So I can't remember who it was that was saying this. I think Jocelyn, that if you say that you are wanting to manifest $150,000, that can be a limitation because the universe can grant you all of the abundance that you want and not necessarily by that number. So if you have the feeling of what you want to manifest, and let the universe and let your path fill in the details of how that comes about, then that's where the brilliant power is. And so, and I can flip to my mind, to my vision board and go, oh, okay, so, oh, I forgot that I was thinking about this. And so it helps you to redirect your focus on the actual physical things that you're doing to get things going in life. So that's my process.
I think that's great, Lauren, that you've highlighted that, because actually there are so many different ways of doing the things that we want to do, and it doesn't necessarily mean you've got to have this financial exchange, because the money is actually only an energy anyway. And I have to say, I get incredibly frustrated when people are just banging on about making money, because yes, I understand that we all do need money, because that helps us procure things that you obviously we do need in life. However, when you just chase the figures, it takes away that journey. But actually you can do so many different things, and you can buy. I was having a conversation, for example, with a friend yesterday about the items of clothes I managed to acquire at a good price from charity shops and thrift stores and Vinted and all these other places.
Sarah, I'm sorry, Sarah, I'm gonna cut you off. I just saw
Okay.
somebody had a question about guides, and I just wanted to clarify. I think we have some new people here, so hello to the new people, and ask your guides. The guides are the teachers that are here, so I just wanted to clarify that point. That yeah, we're not actually asking our spirit guides, although I think that's wonderful, to do that as well. We're asking our teacher guides. So, and I wanted to say hello to Catherine, a couple of teachers here, Matt. Who else did I see sneak in here? I like to acknowledge the teachers because we definitely love our teachers here on Insight Timer. I just want to acknowledge all of them who've come in, and I wanted to clarify for the new people. My apologies for not making it clear when we first came in. I have a tendency to never explain anything. I fly by the seat of my pants. I just kind of jump in. And yeah, obviously you're just coming in as a new person in the community and you're like, ooh, we're talking to the guides. Okay, cool. But
Can I
Thank you.
piggyback on what Sarah was saying and
Yes,
Lauren? Is
Shauna,
that
go right
okay?
ahead, please.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
please.
so the $150,000 thing, I think it's really interesting, Jocelyn, that you mentioned that, because I exactly put that on a vision board, expecting that that was going to happen. And now I realize that I actually had to heal to a place to heal my scarcity, the wounds around my ancestral scarcity, to actually be in an energy to accept that amount of money. And so frustrating to, put it all over the place and, this exact amount of money. And also thinking, okay, so what are you going to do for that money, Shauna? Like, I mean, what is it that you love to do? And I think when you talked about an evolution of your vision boards, that's exactly it, is evolving as a person to be the person who can accept that, be in the energy of abundance and get to that place. And I had a lot of healing to do. My last vision board from last year, it had Gabor Mate all over it. If for those that aren't familiar, he is a trauma expert. He's a Canadian, which I love, but he's known all over the world. And I was like, I need to, and Sinead O'Connor, I needed to heal myself. That was my whole year, pretty much last year. And the abundance piece is beautiful. Now I am in a vibration or in a space healing that wound that I didn't even know I really had. I didn't even understand it. And now I'm healed to a place where, okay, this is going to be a fun year, And so, yeah. And it's evolving. And it's not to say that you can't do that. Like it is wherever you're at, meet yourself where you're at. And I love what you said about the vibration and the ripples. My company is Radar Media, so it's ripples and it's raising vibration, and that's where it comes from. And anyway, I just wanted to say that because I have been that person. I have absolutely been that person, and I love that part of myself, that old version of myself, and that's been a road too. That's all part of the evolution. So thank you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. We've all been that person, right? All of us here. Like, I don't think there's any of us here who've not been that person. So I love that.
And I think
Fatima,
we
you have
should
a
all-
question.
I was gonna say,
Somebody
we should
here
all
wants you.
expect the unexpected as well.
Yes. Fatima, somebody here, BT wanted to know what you shared about working with clients. So can you expand on that?
I feel that Shauna was very, very wise on sharing the audio vision board. So I am a music producer, and for more than 10 years, I started creating audio meditations for myself according to what I want. So for example, at some point I wanted to manifest a partner, and I will do this checklist with all the things I was looking for and feeling. But as I'm very audio person, I would record the meditation in a way I wanted, with the kind of background music I wanted. And I remember I was driving every day to the hotel where I was playing, and I was vibing with the song, with my words, with everything I was saying, because everything is very customized, even the way we say it. And it was very interesting because I will do it for a specific area of my life, career, love, or a general life. And every year I always bring a new one, because I have, and maybe later in the live I can share how I create my vision board is according a word. So I create that audio according to that. And I remember I started doing it to friends around 2019. And I have, for example, this friend from Brazil, and she said, Fatima, I really would love to go to Portugal. I really would love to know how Portugal is and everything about that. So we crafted this meditation in April. And she said, I have no idea how to go to Portugal. Nowadays we have so many American people, especially for North American, right, coming to Portugal and visiting Portugal. Now it's different, but at that time, it was not yet the same way. So we crafted the meditation, and it's very different from just saying things. There are many little things here and there. And then after we craft the script, I get with the person, I see how they feel about the wording, even the tense of the verbs has a meaning. Everything is already happening, is nothing in the future. Everything is already happening. And then the soundtrack that we put on it, at that time, I was putting uplifting music sometimes, or it doesn't have to be soft all the time. It has to be with what you want to expect from that custom meditation. And in September or October of that year, she came to Portugal. She manifested it, and she had no idea before how to do it, but she could see herself in Portugal, and she could really envision that. And I started doing to friends. And then until now I have a mentoring program called Soul Alignment, where I work with tuning folks, and I try to work on soul alignment of the clients. And one of the bones of that mentoring is really having a custom meditation, because I really feel it's amazing to have all the meditations, but when you have something that is created to your phase in life, to your moment, to whatever you are feeling right now, it really resonates. And it makes sense because we are speaking about digital, physical, audio. It makes sense to understand what kind of person are you? Are you a visual person? Or because I know vision board might not be the best thing for people that are not visual, but if you are an audio person, maybe the audio meditation is going to work really well. So really study what kind of person you are, maybe creating a movie about it. I was also creating a movie for one of my clients because it's a very synesthetic person, and he works with cinema and short movies. So creating a movie of your life is also powerful. So whatever you resonate with, create something in that world.
I love that.
I'm not hearing you, Violet.
Sorry, I was muted. I want to ask, that was beautiful. And I want to ask everyone how they create their vision boards. So Sarah O'Brien, I'm going to start with you. I want you to share with us how you go about creating your vision board.
I'm just so inspired by the diversity of which we all
Yes.
approach this. And I think it's just so beautiful because it comes in so many different mediums, right? Energy comes through in so many different mediums. And so I just appreciate and love hearing what everybody's doing. And for me, I look at my vision boarding as almost the reflection, and the pre-work is almost like the greatest magic happens like in that, because it allows us to get so granular on what it is that actually fuels our heart. And back to the money, like Sarah was saying, and the evolution. I remember being that person that would put that figure on my vision board. Yeah, that is the number I want to make, and not knowing what in heck I would even do with that money. I wasn't even clear of what was actually the intention behind why I wanted that money. And so to see that evolution of like, there's no dollar signs. And I'm proud of that because I've gone through my own where money was number one for so long. And it makes me so proud that it's not number one. It's all the other things and the experiences and what it affords me. And that actually allows me to get to the money that I want to make, that affords these opportunities. So to your question, Violet, I look at my vision boarding in 3 different ways. There's the prep work, the reflection on what are the critical areas of my life. It's similar in what I take my coaching clients through when we engage. What are the critical areas of my life? And getting really granular. It's not just family. That's too broad. I look at my partner. I look at my children separately because I have separate interactions with them. I look at my siblings separately, my 3 siblings. I look at my parents. And so I really look at if I'm saying these are critical areas of my life, what things are important to you, when you value them, it means you are active in those areas. So I really have to be honest with myself. What are the critical areas, Sarah? If you're putting friends or critical area, but you're not giving your friends giving them the space, is that really a critical area? So it allows me to get really clear on what might be lacking. And so first I create the critical areas, and I don't know if you can see here, but I have all these critical areas mapped out here on this sheet, and spiritual, physical, my partner, my daughters, learning, everyday learning, financial, career, travel, well-being. Those are sort of some of the critical areas. And then really reflecting on, in those areas, what does that mean to me? What would a 10 out of 10 in those areas mean to me? And I think oftentimes people come to vision boarding with their magazines and with their poster board, but they haven't given a lot of thought. And they're just flipping through magazines, hoping that something is just going to pop out to them and give them the answer. Whereas we all know the answer is really here. It's inside. It's already there if we choose to actually uncover it. So the first is the prep work. I think about these critical areas of my life. I then do the actual work where what represents those areas. And I'll show you my vision board as well. And then the post. Then it's like, what am I doing to actualize these things? Beyond putting it out into the universe and how would the universe help? But it's also, what am I doing? And every day I get up and my practice is a grounding meditation. And then I do a visualization. Back to neuroscience, our brain can't tell the difference between visualization and actualization. So when you visualize something, our brain thinks it's happening. And so I do visualization and thinking about, and sometimes if it's Monday morning, I'm usually thinking about career. I'm walking into the week. What do I want to unfold? What do I want to receive? What do I want to impart? And how do I want to impact? And every morning I sit in that. And I really love how Fátima said, you could create a track. You could create a track and listen to that, and then maybe add to it, because there's probably some similar themes that come up every day. But I love, like, maybe there's additions to it. So thank you for adding that. I'd love to include that into my ritual and see how that works for me. So I appreciate you sharing that. So that's sort of the evolution. And as I said, I'm always adding to my vision board. So I don't know if you can see, I can't really see the computer and show it, but they're just all the areas: travel, career, financial freedom, financial literacy, passion, adventure, joy, laughter.
Would you lift up your vision board again? I just stuck you in the middle of the screen.
Certainly.
Perfect. I wanted everyone to be able to see it, so I just went over to Zoom and made you and put you in the spotlight. Very nice.
I also love seeing people's vision boards when they're more visual or more wordy. Like, I love seeing the differences between some people have all pictures and then some people have all words, which I think is really interesting. You can kind of tell what type of learner and the energy that they have. And so it's really interesting. I find mine are more pictures and less words. But I'm curious what you all, when you look at your vision board, if you see more pictures or words or a combination of the two.
Oh,
yes,
good question. I just looked at mine and I'm like, yeah, I see a combination of the two.
Mine actually depends on the year and my energy and what I'm actually feeling at the time. So I'd like to just really come on the back of yours, Sarah, because it sounds very, very similar to the process that I use personally and that I have been for nearly 10 years now. But also I've actually sort of formalized that into an in-person group workshop that I do here in France every year. And I used to do it at the end of the year, and I've been working with the moon cycles and things for quite a few years now. So I actually prefer doing it towards the end of January, beginning of February, when there's a new moon, because it's also the Chinese New Year. It's a new moon and it's in bulk. So it's all, you know, I'm getting into that type of energy as well. And when I first came to vision boarding, it was after a dark night of the soul. I've had quite a few in my life, as I'm sure most of us, if not all of us, have here. And I just got into the gratitude practice, and somebody mentioned a vision board, and I was like, I have no idea what that is. And getting ready for this live, I went back to all of my vision boards, and I wanted to like share a few of the themes that have been running through, and I've got some here to show you as well. Because especially one year was so fantastic, the way everything manifested. And what I've done is I've taken a few sort of key words or key themes that were coming up in the vision boards and then what actually manifested. And on my first vision board, which I didn't want to show you just because it was quite basic, but I had the words, stop the war inside yourself. And I found that in a magazine, and it was just like, that has to be on there. And then all of the other images to sort of support that were very soothing. It was like cups of tea, it was blankets, it was books, it was just like being really, really gentle with myself. And then another one, so a couple of years later, there were the words holding space, women coming together, there were pictures of well-being. And then the following year, I created half-day workshops for women here in France. Another year, for example, this is going back now 3 years. So reframe your past, return to source. And then there was a picture of a woman moving house. And I thought that that woman would actually be me moving house. And it turned out to be that I was moving my dad's things because he died very unexpectedly at the beginning of the year. And I'd done the vision board a couple of months before. So I went back to England for a while. So that was a return to source. It was reframing my past because all of the things came up. But when I actually put that on, and that was just part of the vision board. And when I put that on there, I obviously had no idea how that would manifest. And so what I want to show you is like the best so far vision board that I have from 2018. So there are things in French and English because I am in France.
Yeah, I made you the spotlight so they can get a good view.
Okay, brilliant. So even if you don't understand the words, I want to comment on a few of these because the way that I do this, let me just put that to one side for a second. The way I do this is very, very similar to Sarah. So there are 3 or 4 phases. So I get really, really curious, and even in my group workshops, about what is important to us. And then we choose something to focus on, and I will guide them through like a visualization, a meditation before we actually then get to the cutting out phase and the pasting phase. And for that, I invite them to drop into their heart space and use their intuition. So all of this that I put on my vision boards is all about intuition and where things need to go. I'm guided where they need to go because for me, it tells a story. So at the top here, it's energy. This for me looks very similar to the Grand Canyon or somewhere in America. Remember, I live in France. This means at the end of the world, wake up and feel awesome. And then this is what I used to look like. You wouldn't believe it now, but I used to have long blonde hair before. And so this looks as though it could be me from the back. So all of those, I just felt I needed to put together like that. And what happened for this part of the vision board was that in October 2018, I flew all by myself from Toulouse in France to San Francisco in the States so it's near the Grand Canyon-ish, to go on an energy retreat, an awakening retreat for women. And it was absolutely out of this world. And for me, it was at the end of the world because it's literally the other side of the world for me. So that was just one of the things that transpired from this, but everything on this vision board came true. I had conferences on there and I was able to give my first conference at a local wellbeing festival. So that wasn't on my radar when I created my board, and that's what happened. I had summer course. There's a summer course on there somewhere. I can't see it myself. And what happened was that was the first year I started training in emotional freedom technique in the summer. So that was a summer course. I also had Transform the World, and that's what I did with all of my one-to-one and group coaching. And then at the end of the world, I've talked about that, and everything's possible. I think that's somewhere. Yes. Okay. Offer yourself everything that is possible. So these are just some examples of what happened in 2018. And just to finish, this is also one that I created in 2018 at the beginning, because I personally wanted to host a retreat. My personal retreat didn't transpire, but everything on this, and I'll show you, I'll move out of the way in a minute, but everything on this that I created thinking it was me going to be organizing it was actually what I experienced in San Francisco. So that was it.
That was beautiful. That was amazing.
Thank you. Apart from the dates, everything transpired. So I am an absolute fan of vision boards for myself. So I haven't done my one for the year because I'm doing it at the end of January, beginning of February this year. But it's just absolutely fantastic. And similar to what Sarah Naylor was saying at the beginning, I need to be creative. I need to make the space to feel into the energy. So I don't personally do digital boards. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. And I agree with what everybody else has shared so far. You need to feel into who you are, what works for you, and this definitely works for me and it might not work for you. So maybe do something similar to what Fatima's shared.
I love that. See, that's what I love is the different perspectives. I was on I do a lot of journaling, which I know a lot of you do as well. And I was on a live once where a teacher told people you have to journal this way and you got to use paper and you got to use a pencil. And I disagreed with her. So I had to back off because I'm like, you know what? It's her live, not mine. And I can't, but I feel so strongly about that. I'm like, don't tell people what to do. They have to do what works for them.
Exactly. Because well, yeah. Anyway, that's a whole nother subject, isn't it? So yeah.
Diana, I wanted to ask you because Sarah O'Brien touched on the neuroscience, and I know that that's something you talk about. I would love for you to expand on that.
Yeah, sure. I would love that too. So thanks. I would like to mention that I also created a digital vision board for myself this year. I'm a digital nomad, and it is kind of difficult to carry with me the physical one, but I usually print the small size photographs or pictures, and I have my lights that I put around my bed and I stick the photos around it. I'm just looking at it right now. And it is something that is kind of a vision board for me that I can carry around with myself. And I'm also using a lot of social media networks and Pinterest, for example. So I'm getting inspiration from there. So that's what I will be using for making mine this year. And the most important for me is the preparation for the creation. So I really loved, Jocelyn, the meditation that we did together to tap into the state of gratitude, abundance, ease. That's really important. And it was also one of my motivations to create the course here on Insight Timer that I got brilliant feedback for, which also kind of prepares you for a fresh start and for your vision for the next year. It is called Mindful Goodbye to the Year, if you guys are interested to check it out later. And from that state, we already break our limitations in the head of how the things should go, how much money I need to earn, or when I should do my retreat, or so on. So I really like the examples that were already mentioned here, how things are really manifested in life. And I like to dedicate specific space to each area on my vision board, so it will be kind of more organized and not so chaotic. It works for me because my brain, I would say, is very logical and very practical, and my heart is it loves to fly all over the place, all over the universe, and to kind of befriend them. This is why I love science, and especially neuroscience. It's like a tool for me to befriend my heart and my brain, to avoid that anxiety that might be there, like, oh, what if it doesn't happen? Or how does it work? I do not understand. For me personally, it was very important when I was just starting with the vision boards myself, maybe about 6 years ago now. And yes, if to go deeper into the neuroscience, I would say that manifestation and the creation of vision boards, it's not only thinking aspirational thoughts and looking at the pictures, but also having an intention to make it real, to take the action. So one of my favorite neuroscientists, Tara Swart, calls them action boards. And that also inspires me a lot to really every day do some tiny step that will bring me closer to what I really want to have this year in my life, or where I want to grow or expand. And nowadays we are bombarded with information. We have never in the history of humanity received so much information, and we really need to filter that. So that is why vision boards work, because we focus our attention on what we want in our life and kind of reducing the noise that exists around us. So we better filter the information, we have a more precise vision, and that is how our brain picks all the opportunities that will be helpful, that will bring us closer to achieving our goals or dreams. It is called selective attention. So we start suddenly, kind of by magic, noticing the things or people, opportunities in our life that we kind of have on our vision board. And that is where we need to take the action to step up for ourselves. I'm so sorry. Well, and each step brings us closer to our dream life. And speaking about the board, where to put it, I have it right next to my bed because I know that it is so beneficial to see it right when you wake up and the last thing when you go to sleep, because it's like a transitional state, right, between awakeness and sleep, when our subconscious mind is more receptive and we are not so probably involved in our thoughts and anxiety, for example. So also, apart from the visional part, emotions play a crucial role in manifestation. So of course, I'm sure that all of us are creating with our heart and choosing the pictures or phrases, the photos with the emotions that we want to experience eventually, right? It's not about the physical objects that we want to have, but how we want to feel, our states at the end of the day. So also pay attention to how these pictures you're picking up make you feel. And I would say my final recommendation for the vision board creation, again, would be to leave a little bit of space there, somewhere between the pictures or somewhere in the middle. I explain it as I let magic to happen. So because I do not want to control everything in my life, I just know that where I'm going, and I know that I might receive even more than I'm asking for. So leaving a little bit of space for that also makes my heart softer. So I would say 3 things based on neuroscience that you guys can implement when creating the vision board with us together today. Make it believable, keep it visible, and take accountability, take steps, actions towards your dream life. That is it from my side. Thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you for sharing all that. And I also want to point out that Sarah O'Brien just put some questions into the chat, which I think are great. That specific questions you can ask yourself before starting your vision board. And I'm the type of person who loves stuff like that because I do need a lot of guidance sometimes. So I was just copying and pasting them because I'm saving them for later, but I wanted to point them out in case anybody missed them. It was identify and reflect on the critical areas of your life, spiritual, health, specific relationships with friends, families, adventures, careers. What would a 10 out of 10 look like in those areas? What do you want to call in to elevate those areas? What impact contribution do you want to make on this world? What brings you the greatest happiness, joy, and gratitude? And what do you want to call in more of? What activities or people make you feel most, oops, it scrolled away from me. The chat moved too fast. Alive. What has stood in your way of achieving those things in the past? What does an ideal day look like? Those are fabulous questions. Thank you for sharing that, Sarah.
Thank you. And I just quickly wanted to add, I think the like what stands in the way, I oftentimes see with a lot of my clients, coaching clients, is there's a lot of similarities year to year with what's on their vision board because they haven't achieved it. And that's okay, right? Like it might not happen in the year. As I think Sarah was saying, she thought she was going to be leading retreats. That was her intention of putting it on there. But what happened is the universe delivered it in another way. But what I think sometimes, if that is actually a desire of Sarah's, what is standing in the way? What can we reflect on? What are the behaviors we're doing that we could work with changing, that we can work on? And so I think sometimes that's sort of a missed part of this process as well, as far as my process, I guess I should say. Something that I like to reflect on as I'm going into the new year is, where have my challenges been? Where did I fall short? Where did I fail? Which are all powerful, beautiful lessons. And how could I approach things differently to get a different outcome? So just wanted to point that out. Thanks, Violet.
If I can just jump in on there as well from what
Sure.
Sarah was just saying, is that it's also, you can set intentions but you have to let go of that expectation of outcome. It's trusting the process, because what you think you might want might not be actually what you need. So it's actually rolling into it. I always say that you need to have those signposts in place so you've got something to walk and work towards. Because let's face it, if we don't leave the house not knowing where we're going. So therefore you need something to guide you to, and these visions, these ideas, and what we can cement down. And I very much like words and intentions that can send that energy for the year. And my 3 words for this year, for example, are expansion, enlightenment, and empowerment for myself and for my clients. So that threads that energy through the year. There are things that I want to achieve. I'm going to be 60 in October, for example, and I've got a list of 60 things that I want to do before I meet 60. I haven't completely created the list, but there's a direction for me to go in, which is motivating me. But if I don't reach those, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. And it could manifest at a different time. It could be something else materializes. There's a lot of things that I want to do, but it's being mindful not to apply that pressure once you've created those intentions and then beating yourself up, because that is very detrimental to going, well, I've put this vision board out there, so I want it all to happen. It's just breathing into it and knowing that, the journey will unfold, but not always in the way that you expect. But enjoy it, 'cause it's always about the journey, not the destination at the end of the day anyway. So let go and
It
enjoy.
really is. Yeah, it really is. And just to answer other Sarah O'Brien, with hindsight, I hadn't been coaching that long, and the retreat that I had put together looked perfect on paper. I hadn't actually ever been to a retreat, by the way. And so when I went to the one in San Francisco, I realized how much I'd put into my retreat, which didn't come off because I had just one person sign up. So that's why I didn't do it. But also I realized now that if I had gone ahead with that particular retreat in that particular place with that particular program, it definitely wouldn't have been the retreat that I wanted to give these women, and they would have needed a retreat to get over my retreat, if that makes sense. So that's one of the things that it gave me. But also since then, I have started offering 1-day retreats. I was going to do these retreats, and then we had the pandemic. And so lots of things changed in everybody's lives. So I've already started doing 1-day retreats. I've been doing those in person now for 1.5 years. And the aim this year is to build up to not necessarily the same retreat that I had put before, because I've evolved and the people who I work with now have evolved as well. But ideally, that would then be part of what I'm manifesting this year as well. But like Sarah Naylor said, it's putting the intention out there, and then it's not that I sit back and stand back, because I don't at all, but it's just waiting to see how it actually all comes together. And so it may be specifically what I've put, or it may be in different ways. So I just wanted to come back to that, because we can always get so focused on what we have put, and we're like, but I've tuned into my heart, I've listened to the intuition, I've got the guidance, it's on my vision board, I'm looking at it regularly, even every day, like Diana said, and it's not happening. And the idea is just to let it be there. It's another tool, and to not have a fixation on it. That's another piece of advice I wanted to give everybody. So
Beautiful that the universe popped in exactly the way when it should have, right, Sarah Brown? Like it's like it exactly. And similarly, I started hosting retreats 5 years ago, and the year before I started hosting weekend retreats. Similar, like it just wasn't yet fully baked, and the world knew it. And it needed a little time. And so 5 years later, I host 2 to 4 retreats annually. And I'm like, thank you, universe. Thank you for not letting me put it out when it wasn't ready. But also, it's okay to put it out when it's not ready, because we're not perfect. And it's okay to scrape our knees, because that teaches us lessons too, right? It's lessons abound everywhere. So
yeah.
Thank you for sharing. So beautiful.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you. And thank you for saying, it was still baking, because yeah, definitely. Love it. Thanks.
Yeah, Patty says it's a great example of redirecting your vision, not giving up on it. And I love that, because I think even with journaling, people are so hard on themselves. Well, I made a list and this didn't happen, and it didn't happen this year, this month. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes there's a better time or a better move. You gotta glide into it. Lauren, I see you're back there playing with your puppy. I want to hear what you've got to say about vision boards.
Well, this puppy, he's not mine. He's
I know you're taking care of, yeah.
yeah, taking care of him for 5 weeks. So he has to be my number one priority. He's got to
Of
stay.
course.
If
Of
he wants in
course.
my lap, he gets to be in my lap, no matter
I
what's
hear
going
that.
So I'm curious as to why, who was it that said, it was Sarah Brown, that you're doing your vision board at the end of January and February. You're doing it around Imbolc?
Yes.
Because I'm planning an Imbolc celebration this year. The vision board to me is simply a tool of helping you get clarity about what it is that you really want, and then helping you to live into the feeling of what it is that you really want. So, for example, I have a picture of a woman in a first class bed on an airplane on my vision board, right? Instead of however much money that cost, I have this picture of this thing that I really want, which is to sleep all the way to Australia in this, beautiful, abundant place, or, whatever that winds up looking like. It's the feeling of that I want, the feeling of freedom, the feeling of safety, the feeling of luxury. And I don't have to get attached to how that comes about, right? And I've also just conceived this idea of, I want to visit the 7 chakras of the earth on my travels, which, I mean, how cool is that? I just learned recently that there were chakras of the earth, which makes me feel completely ignorant. But we're all
I didn't know that either. I think that's fascinating, and I can't wait for you to visit them all.
yeah, it's going to be cool. So I have started putting pictures of those, and that's a big ordeal. I need to find people that are connected there and know where to go and what to do. And so there's a lot of little fine details that go into that. But instead of focusing on those details, I'm focusing on the vision and the what it is that I want, not exactly how it's going to happen. And that's what the vision board helps with. It helps to keep it front of mind, helps to keep it front of heart, and to just remind me, when you look at your vision board, you should feel as if everything on there has already happened. And in that way, you are attracting what you are, and you're being what you want to attract.
I love that Karen said too in the chat that like when she has a decision to make, sometimes a hard decision, like it's good to revisit that because it
Yeah.
can be overwhelming. And you've taken the time to already anchor into what
Yeah.
is important. And it's evolves, as we said. We're adding to it. We might be taking away from it.
Right.
But that's a beautiful thing. And that's where I think the digital could really be helpful. Like I'm not bringing this round to the office and here and
Right.
there.
Yeah.
So that digital,
Put
or
it in your pocket.
yeah, or
Yeah.
even a picture of it could be just, work just as beautifully. But what a great insight, Rachel. I think that'd be fabulous for you to, or Karen, excuse me, for you to refer to that. And maybe
Yeah,
that
so
would be the energy. Mhm.
is the decision in the direction of my vision, or is it not? It's
Is it taking me to, or is it taking me from?
Hey, I've just had
And Lauren,
a
I
thought.
love what Lauren said about feeling like it's already happened, because as us journalers know, that's something we do with scripting, which I'm a huge, huge fan of and a huge believer in.
Just had a sudden idea. You could use it as a screensaver. You take a photograph of your vision board and use it on your home screen, on your phones and on your laptops and your computers.
There's another thing, who's the other digital nomad? Diana. One of the other things that does go with me is my altar. I have representations of things that I am wanting to manifest on my altar, which comes with me everywhere. So, I have crystals for all of the chakras. I have a little pile of
Love
money.
that.
Yeah, that's currency from all over the world that represents abundance and freedom and travel and all of these different places. And just, various little things like that remind me of what's important to me. And that does get
Yeah. I know you had mentioned doing an Ask Your Guides on that on altars, and we're definitely going to follow up on that because I think that's a great idea.
so much fun.
Fatima, I think
Yeah.
Fatima was about to say something.
I was about to say something because we have been also working on word of the year here on the chat. Some people have already shared, and maybe we can invite everyone to share the word of the year on the chat. But the way I create my vision board now, not initially. Initially, I was doing as I believe how we spoke here with this Wheel of Life, but now is with my word of the year. So for example, my word for this year is freedom. I'm going to share. And I usually always make the word of the year the middle of the board, or the stronger way. Here I made it a little bit different because I found a few definitions of the word that I really loved. And then the way I bring everything is my prep moment of the vision board is studying quotes or expressions or definitions, meanings of that word, so I can understand how that word applies on everything, because it's connected. When I choose the word, I'm already choosing for the things I want to bring. And then when I apply that word on the thing, it's all connected. So the way I do it is I find mantras, I find affirmations, I find a little bit of everything about that word, and I build my vision board on that word. And I have been doing the word for at least more than 10 years already. So it's a technique that really resonates with me, that really makes a lot of sense. And every year, and I would say this, someone already said, doing it, don't worry about perfection, worry about doing it, because every year there are sentences or quotes, or for example, I love to add here thoughts that my mentor 8 years ago, he was sharing with me in 2016, and he was saying, what are your dominant thoughts today? And I was like, this is for me. And every year I have that question, what are your dominant thoughts today? Because your dominant thoughts, they guide your emotions, they guide your routine, they guide everything. So there are these specific triggers, and maybe you have that, Violet, because as someone that works a lot of journaling, maybe you have these specific prompts that you want to add on your vision board also. And just to finish also, there was this year in which I wanted to go back. I was teaching music and I wanted to go back to playing in hotels. And I just went to Google and I was like, I want a picture from Google with a piano in a hotel. And what happened is that I have it here. At that time I don't know if you can kind of see it. At that time, my vision board was the same frame as I have right now, but instead of having a stick, I had these little strings where I would put the pictures. And I found this picture on Google. It's a piano with some glasses and champagne and some strawberries. And then I added this picture to my vision board in March, and I wanted to manifest playing again in a hotel, but with a fixed contract. And in July, I was playing in this place. If you look, let me see if I know the way is this one. So this is the picture on my vision board. And this is the picture where I was playing.
Amazing.
It's exactly the same place, the same rug, the same table at the back, the same table, the same champagne, but you have macarons instead of strawberries. And I didn't know that. One of the directors was telling me, if you go to booking.com or those websites where they have reviews, someone wrote a review about you. And when I went to check the review, one of the pictures at the top was exactly the one I had on the vision board. And I was like, I'm playing in the same place, and I didn't realize, because I was not stick, like someone said here, I was not stick to the place. I was stick to the feeling, to the emotion of being in this glamorous place, 5-star hotel playing. And suddenly I was on it and I didn't realize I was asking that so much in March. And in July I had a contract. So the vision board is also good for you to look back and see what you really wished, what you really desired. You have it, you can feel grateful, because everything you really feel with your deepest emotions, it really happens. So believe on it.
I have a question for all of you. How do you feel about being very specific when you do vision boards? Because I love to tell people how before I met my husband, I had a list of everything that I wanted. And a couple of years after I met him, after I'd been with him, I realized that he fulfilled all those, except I forgot to include should cook and clean. So I just want to know, how do the rest of you feel about being specific? Do you have to be specific? Should you go with the flow? I mean, I'm keeping him even though he doesn't cook and clean, but I just want to throw that question out there to the rest of you.
I think from a personal level, I think being specific, I mean, it's a chapter in my book. I haven't even got one to hand at the moment, but I wrote a book and it's a chapter in my book about being specific. This is all about careers, how to manifest your dream job, because I think it's important to get really clear. And I think also in terms of what you want to manifest, it's important to get really clear in terms of what you want. But equally so, sometimes there are times when you actually have to get out of your own way, because your expectations and that specification that you put out there, you might just go, actually, maybe I've got that wrong. I need to get out of my own way a little bit. But I've manifested so much over the years. I've manifested jobs and locations and people, and it all works because you're clear. And Sarah will get this, Sarah O'Brien will get this, but if we're talking careers, you've got somebody that comes into a job because they want to change careers, and they go, well, you know what, I'll do anything, I will. And it's like saying, well, I'll have any man. Well, yeah, is that really going to work? You go into a recruiter, if you're going to see a recruiter and you want something specifically, the recruiter will go, oh, I know what you want. I've got just the client, because that client's been really specific about what they want, and these two match. And then that's the same with what you're looking for within a person, or what it is you're looking for. But equally so, you know, I had to get out of my own way to be in the relationship with my partner, but here's absolutely everything that I want and more. Andy does the cleaning, Violet, although I had to tell him off when he was trying to clean round me while I was working today. I was going, the cloth down. Wiping around the desk in front of me. But yeah, so in answer to your question, being specific, I think, is really, really good, and it keeps you defined, it keeps you focused. However, be mindful, sometimes you've got to take responsibility for being over specific when you might need to just adjust a few things, and that's about going with the flow of life.
So
Yeah.
I would add to that the specificity in having the clarity about what it is that you truly want, like understanding that you want to live in a clean house and you don't want it to be a battle. That's a very important thing, but then not being too attached to those outcomes, right?
I think
Yeah,
there's
that's
a
what
difference
Patty
too
said.
between what you want and what you need. And I think that sometimes those things don't match up. So what are you ready for? What are you actually ready? And are you in a state where your vibration will meet what it is that you want? And why do you want that? Like, is it because you want status? Is it because you want, you know, do you want it because it brings you joy? Do you want it because it helps you become more authentic, your soul self? Or do you want it because it's going to raise you up in other people's eyes? I think I've been caught up by that in the past, definitely. And so that's why I'm saying it.
That's a great point. The cooking, I just wanted somebody to cook for me, but I totally relate.
But you would have missed him, right? If you had the checklist.
That's what I said. Perhaps perhaps the husband that cooked and cleaned was not the right one for me.
Right. Sometimes, yeah. So I think it's a fine line. It can be really specific and a little bit of generalization, you know, a little bit more broad and open. And so, yeah, that's the tough question, Violet, to answer, because I think we've all in agreement that it can
Yes.
be and not a or.
I just noticed that Gina put in the chat that I have Melanie, but Melanie's an hour away. I can't get her to cook and feed me.
Can I talk a little bit? Go ahead,
Yes.
Sarah.
I was just going to say, coming back to that specific, I can't say it. Lauren said it. I can't use
Specification.
that specification, but she said specificity or something like that. I can't say it. I was going
Specificity?
to say, I think, yes, that's the one. But when it comes down to the dating agency sites, if anybody's been on them, I think they've gone too far in making you be specific, in so much that you then end up ruling out people that could potentially be right on your wavelength, because you go, well, actually, he's 5'9" and I wanted somebody 5'9.5", and it doesn't come up in the research. You know, it's just all. So that's what I'm saying. You can end up losing people because you've been too specific, you know? So let it go and go with the flow and trust your gut instinct.
I was going to say, if anyone's having trouble coming up with a word for the year, or even a vision board, you know, like you're really new and you have no idea what you want to do or what you want to think, the the thing that really helped me and got me into doing my first vision board was making a list of 100 things that bring me joy. 100 things that bring me joy. And it took me a few days. It was a coach, a life coach, that got me to do that because I wasn't used to that. I was not used to pursuing joy in my life. And it helped me focus on what I
That's a
actually
lot,
really,
100 though. Like
it
and
is.
I think it's awesome that it only took you a couple of days. I think that would have taken me a few months.
Sometimes it can take
thinker.
people a
I'm
couple
a
of
thinker.
days.
Yeah, I was gonna say things stuff like that. It makes me think, and I would be doing it for a couple of months.
But you're a journaler though, too. And so when you notice things, you write them down. And so, you can put them in your notes in your phone, you can do whatever. It just helps you get into that energy of joy instead of like expectations. Because I think a lot of it, I have had years where I couldn't come up with just one word. I had like 5 words last year,
Mhm.
and I feel like I don't really necessarily want to fit into this box of, oh, I have to have one word, or, oh, I have to have a vision board that looks like this, or I have to have vision board because I'm a words person. It has to have words all over it. Well, that hasn't been the case. It's changed every year. Like I change every year. And so the way that a beautiful thing that happened this year for me is I do magazines, right? Like I do the visual thing. I go do the old school thing. I do the scissors and all of that stuff. And I actually reached out to my community and said, who has a stack of magazines sitting around that I can have? Because then it's not even my magazines. It's like completely manifested through spirit's guidance, or whatever you believe your soul purpose or your soul self is telling you. And the whole purpose of it and the whole fun of it is actually carving out these words that I resonate with, that, oh yes, like, or I love this picture, or I want to look like that, or I love that dress, or I want to feel like that, I love this, whatever. And I honestly don't have a lot of structure to it. I am the opposite of, having to have a structure and having to have the mindset. And I need to have calm, I guess, and some time. And I leave it on the kitchen table for as long as I want. I cover it over. I cut them as I go along. And I actually got to meet someone in my community who was so happy that they could recycle magazines and they left it on their porch. I didn't even meet the person, but I gave them so much gratitude. And then I showed them my vision board afterwards. I'm like, see, look, like this is what came out of your generosity and you connecting with me. And to me, that energy, that sharing energy, I got goosebumps as I say it, is just incredibly moving, incredibly manifesting. So I'm in that energy of community. And that's part of what I want this year, is like a community like you amazing folks, of people that are like me. I've set some really strict boundaries this year. I've let go of friendships. I've let go of relationships. I think a lot of people have. It's been 2024
Yes.
was the year of releasing. And last year, like I mentioned, my vision board was about healing. And that's it, pretty much. I had a couple of other things. And I'm like, really? Like, do I have to do a whole year of healing? And I fucking did. I had to. I absolutely had to. And I still do, but I mean, there was more healing this year than the last decade. So now, with this new vision board, and if I'm allowed to show, I'd love to show my last year and
Yes.
this year, if that's
Let me
okay.
let me put you in the spotlight.
All right. So last year was, you can see Gabor Mate
Yes.
and the butterflies.
Love it.
This is about news, and this is work. This is protecting drag story time. That's another story I'll talk about another day. This is standing out from the crowd and being courageous enough to do that.
Nice.
Different, calmness, sparkle. Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty
Love it.
dresses. and Sinead O'Connor. Just having courage to be yourself.
Yes, gosh, your vision board is something I really resonate with. Please send
And then-
pictures after.
And then this is this year. And I don't keep moving my microphone away. There, is that better? So, let's see. So Banff, I don't know if you know Banff Springs Hotel in Alberta. It's a big, anyway, there's a retreat that I want to go to there. This is my brain, which is often chaotic, but I'm embracing that because I
Love that.
the way that my brain can move in a lot of pieces. That it made me an amazing journalist and an amazing newscaster. It's
Wow.
difficult to harness though. Anyway, thank you for indulging me. And
Oh,
yeah,
no, I love it.
starting
I love it.
with 100 things that bring you joy as far as you can get. It really helps you get into that kind of mindset. I actually was such a people pleaser. I didn't actually know what brought me joy. And so it was a discovery for me. That was about 10 years ago.
Yes.
But
I'm a recovering people pleaser, and joy is my word for 2025. And I love what you said, because that's what I'm focusing on, is doing stuff for myself. And I could so relate to that chaotic brain of yours. When I saw that picture, I'm like, you did the vision board that I need.
May I piggyback off Shauna? Because I feel like
Please.
maybe we're very similar. I'm a little bit different, like, because I don't, when I think of vision boards, to me, and it's partly where I come from with soul art and expressive art therapy, creativity is the channeling. So when I go and create a vision board, I allow myself to channel through, like I connect with parts of myself. I connect with my heart. I connect with, I just did a soul art mini journey here on Insight Timer, and it was all about let's just look at the soil of 2024, what we're going to put the seeds in for 2025. And it was just an entire journey on just like, what are the gifts of what we're leaving right now in order to make my vision board? It's like it became this whole big thing. And I really see vision boards as a channeling for me. And when I say my evolution of vision boards, is I've evolved to that, because I used to do a lot of more of the, okay, I'm going to go through the goals. What do I want to bring in? What do I need? Or where am I feeling? And that's how I started. But it's been through my own personal journey in the arts and creativity and understanding the channeling of creativity. And I mean that in all ways: audio, movies, cooking, gardening, like all of it, right? Wherever you have your thing. Mine personally, I love art and photography. So that's what ends up on a lot of mine. But like just allowing my vision board to channel. And part of my process is to, once I've created my vision board, I sit with it and I write into it. And I'm like, what is it telling me? Because it has more to tell me that because a lot of times when we just create goals and stuff, we're using our minds to think that out. And really, we're soulful people. We are souls in a human body, right? So like a lot of it for me is like, I let myself channel out that vision board, and I let it just kind of flow from me. And then I sit and I have sacred time with my vision board, and I ask it questions and I converse with it, and I go, okay. So, and then from there, I can create goals and to-do lists, and I can create all kinds of crazy fun things going on in my life. But so I kind of go backwards maybe than a lot of people in that. And I actually brought my vision board to show you from the other day that I was making. But my vision boards are all different every year. So this one's going to hang over my active altar for my shaman altar. So this is like my one from this year. And it's going to turn because I need to see back and front. And so this is the one I created in the class the other day that I was running. And man, this side, it took me 4 hours, because I just wasn't happy and I was just playing, right? But so this is going to hang, and I even made like a little like fun little doohickey at the top. But I'll just give you a quick show. Like the other way, like this was one I showed in the other day. Is like I've made one year I was really focusing on my
Wow.
family, and I made a house. And the reason I made a house,
Those are beautiful. And I just want to pause you for just 1 minute.
Yeah.
Maribel is saying she's not creative at all. Maribel, I am not creative at all. And the amazing stuff that Jocelyn has done,
Yeah.
I wish that I could do it.
Let me tell you,
I want to say we can do anything, right? But it would take me a lot longer.
I have never had an art class in my life. I just want y'all to know that. I've never had
That's
like writing
awesome.
classes, and I've never had art classes, but I just
That's
play.
I was gonna say you are a natural because those are beautiful.
Amazing. I love
So
it.
yeah, so this one was specifically, it was all about my home. And so I created my whole vision board, and I could open it up and I could close it and I could put it away. And it's like I had out like, so I did that one. And then I've created books like I was just showing the other one the other day behind me this is a huge vision board. It's actually 4 foot by 5 foot. This is the year my parents died, and I just wanted to balance. I just wanted to be present. And so there's very little collage, a lot of paint, and so and I also, one of the other things I was doing, where did I put it? Let's see. The other thing, for those of you who don't like to do big, huge things, you don't have to do a huge vision board. This is something that I've been doing, which is like little cards. And
Yes.
I play with the cards, and I have a card for each theme. Like, so I'm actually going to put them together into a book that I can bring around with me. But like,
Oh
they're
gosh,
all different.
I would love to do something on those cards. I went to it was called a
Yeah.
soul collage workshop, and I loved that idea about just
Yeah.
doing little cards.
And with the cards, I do the same thing. I play. Man, creativity is for playing and not enough. But we like to put all these rules on it. And we like to make it hard and like,
Yeah.
thinky and all this stuff. Like creativity is for playing. So I'll play. And then what I'll do is I'll sit and I'll converse. So for each card, I have an affirmation. Like for the back of this one, it is, I am revealing myself through trusting my multidimensional and whimsical imagination. So now I have an affirmation and I have a visual. I don't have to think about it anymore. I put it on my active altar. I take it with me. So you can even make small things. Like even and the other one thing, there was so much interest in digital. I ran up to get my iPad so I could just show you really quickly, Procreate, because I know there was a question. I just gotta find it.
Yes, you had mentioned it at your live, and I went to look at it. I'm curious to see how you work with it.
So this is like a digital collage I did.
Wow.
So it's real, but you can do simple stuff. So I often work with just colors off of huge pieces that I paint. So this is just this is also something I worked on. It's just 2 pieces of paper that I was able to layer them in Procreate, and it gives
Wow.
you a mood right away, doesn't it? Like immediately when you look at colors and different brush strokes, it gives you a mood almost immediately. And I could work with this on a vision board, right? So like I could work with
Now,
that as a background or like
how long does it take you to create something like that? I'm curious.
Oh, the other one, maybe like 2 hours. But you have to
Wow.
kind of go through and find the pieces that you want. So if you're on Procreate, you just have to learn, the Procreate, the application itself. And once you have the basics, it's so easy and fun. There's so many shortcuts. And I'll go and I'll look for like I'll do, someone else was saying like Googling for the piano in a hotel, right? Like I'll do that kind of Googling. Or I'll go onto like Pinterest and find different things, and I'll like drag them and crop them and play with them, and you can really make them your own, and then and the thing about working with Procreate as opposed to Canvas, Procreate's an artist's tool, and you can really there's so much creativity that you can add to it. Like there's so many levels that you can play with. Like this was one when I wanted to heal my grief. This was a collage I did to heal my grief.
Oh, that is
And
beautiful.
it's like this is something I do all the time, and it's so relaxing. I had to be on a train for 3 hours. The train ride went so fast because I was playing and having fun, and so that's kind of doing that kind of work on learn Procreate if you're interested in it, if you like to have a little bit more playfulness with your digital. It's really fun. But yeah, so I just feel like maybe I might be just different in the sense that of how I approach creativity and how I approach the arts and how I
I
approach
love it.
expression, because I really feel like the creation itself can speak to us. It is channeling like what we need at a deeper level, and that doesn't mean that I haven't in the past put those things that I really want to have in my life, right? Like those things that I really want to. But now I find I just trust. I trust. I put the intention out there for doing a vision board. I connect with myself, and then I play, and I just trust that it's going to come out what I need to do. And I can always change it. And there was also a question on the Insight Timer about working throughout the year with your vision board. And I wanted to answer to that because I absolutely work throughout the year with my vision board. Sometimes I'll just change locations. Sometimes I'll actually add pieces or take pieces off. And sometimes I'll add not only to the piece, but I'll add like background to it, or I'll put it on something bigger to add to allow it to expand. But I only do it as I feel it. Like if I have something in my space, all of a sudden I'm not like I don't feel the pull to it, I'll change it. So I go with like my bodily responses, like all of my senses. I'm a real big sense person. Like if I'm not responding with my senses to something, why is it there? If it's something I made and I'm looking to use, you know. So yeah.
Now
I
everything
love
behind
that.
you, are those all related to your vision boards? Everything that's behind you? I love your background.
Oh, this is just my teaching altar little area. It's just fun
Oh,
stuff.
again, altars. Lauren was talking about altars. We have to do a thing on
Yeah.
altars.
Yeah, you know, and the idea, you know, here's the thing, like if you can take vision board, it doesn't have to be like it can be audio. I love Fatima, what you were like Fatima. I'm not sure if I said that right, but I love the idea of audio and movies and like it can go anywhere. It's like it's just being able to express it into something that you can then revisit at any time you'd like, you know. And so just being big, small, like all you know. I don't know. Vision boards are awesome, but we don't have to keep them necessarily in the
Visual
in the visual or in the, you know, 18 by 24
box.
paper with all of this, right? Like it can be fun, you know. One of my favorite vision boards was a book I made. I was talking about it the other day with cereal boards and like duct tape and make
Yes.
the
Yes.
Sounds
like
so
I
so much
want to
awesome.
I
fun.
want to do that. We're definitely going to need a part 2 of this because there's so many great ideas. You know, I'm like, we got to do that and we got to do this and we got to do that. Love that.
I love the
I've
channeling
just had a
though.
moment. I could see Jocelyn doing a vision board on a whole wall
Oh
and actually
yeah.
painting the wall. That would
Oh
be
yeah. I've
yeah.
done it. Don't even
I've seen
I'll
people
be
do
happy
that. I
to.
think
I
that's
can believe
incredible.
that. I believe it.
And I
I
also
just love the
think
channeling piece though, like feeling into it. I think that's so important.
Yeah.
And I think you know when you're channeling when you don't actually remember it happening. You go back to
Totally.
it and you look at it and you're like, oh shit, like I don't remember that. Did I purposely do that? No, that was channeled. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
When you start writing and it just keeps on coming and it keeps coming and you get
I
out
did
the
whole columns where I did not remember writing what I wrote. Tons.
yeah. Things come in.
All right. Well, I see we've got like 15 minutes left, and I do not want to miss the opportunity to have you each share what you have coming up, you know, tracks, lives, anything that you want to share. So I know you're new, Sarah, so I'd like to hear Sarah O'Brien. Let me specify. When are you going live? What do you have coming up? Because I'm excited to see what you're going to be doing here.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited. I dropped in the chat. I have a track that should be released within the next week that is a visualization. So I know I added when I was talking about my process that after I create the vision board, I'm not only having it in a space where I'm visiting it daily, but I'm also starting my day. My practice is the grounding meditation, then leading into a visualization of how I want those things to actualize. And so I'm going to be dropping that visualization meditation, hopefully, like I said, within the week. And hoping to get my retreat up on the platform as well. Super excited that Insight
Awesome.
Timer is now exploring retreats and excited to
Yes.
share my retreats with a broader community. It's really exciting. So
Did
thank
you
you.
say you shared your track? Because I'm looking through the chat. I didn't see it.
It's in the queue to be released. So it's not released yet.
Oh, on Insight Timer. Gotcha. I
Yeah.
thought you meant you put it in the chat. Okay.
Oh,
Awesome.
no. Yeah. So that should be out within the next week. So if you want to follow and to be the first to see it drop, please do so. So thank you so much, Violet,
Awesome.
for asking.
Oh, absolutely. I followed you already, so I'm excited. I can't wait to see. Diana, do you want to share what you might have coming up or lives, tracks, courses, retreats?
Absolutely. So one that I already mentioned is the Mindful Goodbye to the Year, which is a 3-day course, and it helps to release the past and to focus on the future. And I will be doing it myself once again for the Lunar New Year that will be coming at the end of January, if I'm not mistaken. Here on the platform, I will be releasing more, let's say, meditations based on Buddhist traditions, because now I'm enrolled in the meditation teacher program with Mingyur Rinpoche. I love that, and it brings me a lot of wisdom and inspiration to create. And my personal resolution for this year is to start my meditation YouTube channel where I will be uploading many more tracks, hopefully. So I promise you guys I'll do it someday this year. And the one that already exists is a Daily Mindfulness with Diana Mirs, where I upload just speaking videos, and love to connect with all of you guys.
Awesome. Thank you. Fatima.
So I have a retreat on here on my profile, and I just received an email saying that someone purchased. It's the first seat now throughout the live. So thank you so much. I don't know if it's someone from
Yay.
the chat.
Congratulations.
I received the first email. I really didn't know how that was working, but so I have the retreat. It's a 4-day sound healing retreat in Portugal in May. I have also booked sound baths in the next Sundays on my evening, so it might be in the afternoon of most of the people here. The sound baths are a great way to release, to sleep better. And also I invite everyone to go into the profiles of each teacher here, because when you follow us and you check on our work, our website, what we are doing, our next lives, everyone here has amazing offers. And we are always updating all the time. This is what we do for a living. So we are updating and bringing more and trying to bring the best. And to finish, I really would like to appreciate how Violet is giving all her time to put us together. She says that she's donating to the rescue dogs. But I know when I'm doing my lives, I never ask for donations. But Violet, she's putting time to speak with us, to put us together, to create the links, to create the calendar invitation, to whatever. So if you feel like supporting her work and showing some different kind of way of gratitude, feel free to also check on her profile and any other things that she has. That is really, really beautiful work. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet of you to say. And yes, I always tell people any donations that I get, I have a couple of animal rescues that I love, and I never ask for donations, but when I do get them, I share them. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Sometimes I don't even realize how much work I put into what I do here because I love it so much. And, talk about my word for 2025 being joy. This is something that brings me a lot of joy, which is why I'm doing it. I mean, I don't get paid for it. I don't get anything for being here. When I first got on Insight Timer, like I fell in love with so many of these amazing teachers, and I was like, I want to spend more time with them. How do I do that? And some of you know me, I'm a tech junkie. So I'm very good with technology. So I figured out how to do this, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I love doing this. So, but thank you so much for saying that. I so appreciate that. Sarah Brown, we're going to move to you.
Thank you.
What do you want to?
Unmute
Yeah, just so
then.
you can tell us. Yes.
Okay, so as I said at the beginning, I haven't got a lot of things uploaded yet, but 2025 is the year that changes. So I am going to be uploading a track, which is more of a talk. I think IT is going to put it into the talk category, all about setting intentions, because it's the beginning of a new year. But as a couple of us have mentioned, for me, the new year is actually more the lunar new year. So it's end of January, beginning of February around in bulk. But anyway, so the setting intentions will be uploaded this week, hopefully. I've got a couple of in-person retreats coming up in France and in England in the next couple of months. And I've just been invited to add mine to Insight Timer. So I have to figure out how to do that. Maybe Violet can help me with the tech stuff. And the last thing that I didn't mention at the very beginning is that for the past year and a bit now, I have been hosting a weekly radio show called Wellbeing Wednesday. And that's been very, very, what's the word? Fruitful, I suppose. That's coming in. That's a weird word for me, but anyway. And so I'm going to be taking some of that content and uploading it also onto Insight Timer. So check out my profile in the next couple of weeks. It will be updated.
Awesome. Sarah Naylor.
Hi, thank you, Violet. And just to echo what Fatima said, yes, thank you for hosting. It's just brilliant. Love it, love it, love it. And I hope all your your animal welfare dog charities do really well, which is amazing. Got to look after the animals as well. So thank you. So please do, as again, echoing, go and check everybody's profile out. Please do head over to the main board, because that is where the teachers will benefit. Even if you don't want to donate, if you actually listen to tracks or listen to courses and sign up to courses, it really does help, because we create all the content that we put out there for free. But when you play it, that is what counts. And when you go back again, they call it being sticky. So anything that you go back to, it helps us. So you don't actually need to physically donate if you can't afford, but if you are watching something, if you sign up, it all helps. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I released a course just before Christmas called Cultivating the Perfect Present, Living Life in the Now. So it's just a really short three lesson course. So please go and check that out. But the one that seems to be going like wildfire at the moment is cultivating positive vibes, which is great, which is what I want to do, and which is what I try and do generally. Raising vibrational frequency, working with energy. I've got a podcast called Harnessing Happiness. I know I'm not supposed to say too much about external stuff, but that is what I'm all about. It's all about sort of focusing on the positive, looking at the happiness, radiating that out. So anything about all of us, go and check our profiles out, because you can find out more about us that way than we can actually really say on here. But just to say, please do keep on checking on us and connecting with us via the options that you've got available. So thank you very much. And hopefully I'll put some retreats on myself this year as part of my expansion. Exciting times ahead. Thank you.
Awesome.
Have a wonderful
Jocelyn.
2025, everyone.
Jocelyn, tell us what you want to share.
Oh, well, I just have had so much fun on this. This is like the second time I've been here. I just love it. So thank you. Yeah. And let's see. I put a bunch of lives up for the next few weeks, because I have decided that I'm taking a break from other things. I'm just going to do Insight Timer for a while. So you
Wow.
might find some really cool stuff if you keep checking in on me, because I'm just going to throw some even though I need like 2 days, but I might just end up being like, I have a lot of energy this week. No, I have a lot. I have run a creative writing lives that I do every week. I'm starting to do automatic writing every week, and in the lives, and physical discomfort and EFT and moving through grief, as my mother died 3 years ago. Her birthday is on the 7th. So I'm running a special moving through grief with curiosity and creativity on her birthday. And I have a bunch of courses. Actually, I have an EFT course that's hopefully going to come out soon. I'm a master EFT practitioner. I've been for many years, and I've been asked to do one. So I'm probably like mid-January, I'll have that course coming out. And then
Awesome.
otherwise, I'm kind of having fun with, I'm playing around with, and I'm like a rubber band with Insight Timer for a while. So
I love that. I
just
love
having
that.
fun.
And you have given us so many ideas today. You know I'm going to follow up with all of you, because there were a lot of ideas flying around, and I'm like, we need to work on those too. I want to do that. And I love that you're all willing to collaborate. Lauren.
All right. Yeah, this really has been so much fun. This is just a remarkable group of women. And yeah, Violet, you're doing real magic bringing people together like this. So thank you. So one of my most popular meditations is called Magnificent Manifesting Visualization. So it's like a visualization meditation if you want to check that out. And also my course is called Happy and Free on Purpose Life Course. And it touches on a whole lot of the things that we've talked about, making a list of the positive aspects of your life, making a list of all the things that you've loved throughout your life, and whether you've, held on to those or let them go, and why, and what you want to bring back. And it's just a really nice 20 lesson course, and each day has a little meditation to help reinforce the lesson. So the first of the year is a really good time to check that out. And as Sarah was saying, the more you come to the platform and meditate and take care of yourself, the more you are helping us. So that's a beautiful symbiosis that I think is kind of a bit of brilliance on the part of Insight Timer. And then finally, I'm live every new moon and every full moon. And I've decided that it's going to be right about sunset wherever I am. And I currently am in the UK. So sunset will be between 4 and 5. But if you click the follow button on all of our profiles, then you'll get a notification as to when our lives will be. And I do invite in our spirit guides during our meditations, and we do a card reading, we do a spirit guided meditation, and we take all of your questions for me, for the cards, for spirit guides. So those of you who are asking questions about ask your guides, the new moon and the full moon is a good time to do that with me. So I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody's creating in the new year. And my word for 2025 is devotion.
Nice. Where in the UK are you right now, Lauren?
I am in Chorlton cum Hardy, which is a suburb of Manchester. Chorlton. I'm right next to the biggest cemetery in the UK.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Shauna Ray.
Hi. I've been on Insight Timer for maybe, oh gosh, I think it might be 6 months, and I do live journaling sessions. We do some prompts, and I pull some oracle cards. I'm also invite in our spirit guides and have a lot of gratitude. We have a gratitude prayer at the beginning. And what I really want to mention is so much gratitude for the 250 odd people that have showed up to support us and listen to us and love us and give us ideas and ask your questions. Without you, we wouldn't have something like this. I want to give my gratitude, especially to Violet, too, and also to all of you. I've learned so much from all of you today, all of you teachers. I feel honored to be in your presence. Like I said at the beginning, I still feel that way, of course, and I'm so much wiser. When I left radio, it wasn't a great, it actually, I've been trying to get over that trauma for a long time. 15 years ago, it, my radio show was called The Shauna Ray Show, and I'm starting the Shauna Ray podcast. So saying that out loud makes me feel really good, and really scared and actually fucking terrified. But thank you for letting me do that. And yeah, I've got some meditations on Insight Timer as well, and I plan to do a little bit more. I have that on my board, and yeah, I know we're not allowed to talk about stuff outside, but yeah, follow
That's
me.
awesome. Awesome. And I have to say, you know, I'm so grateful to everybody who volunteered to do this, because, and to the people in the community who had asked about the vision boards. Last year, I had done a couple of vision boards with another teacher, Jude. He's not on Insight Timer anymore, but I missed doing them. They were so much fun. And a couple of people had asked about vision boards, doing them again. And I was like, hey, let me put it out there. I asked which teachers would be interested, and I got this amazing response. So I'm so thrilled and so grateful to all of you for doing this, you know, and again, giving of your time. So be sure to follow them. I put all the names in the chat a couple of times. I'm also going to put their names on the link in my teacher's profile, which you can see after the live. I see Pisa saying she misses Jude. Yeah, I miss Jude too. I tell him all the time he should come back to Insight Timer. He's doing other things, but he's a wonderful teacher. So many wonderful teachers that we have here. And like I said, this is my way of connecting with all of them, which I love, you know. And when I joined Insight Timer, I liked journaling and I didn't know what I was going to do. So I just kind of went with that. But as time went on and I kept seeing all these teachers, and I had seen a lot of them before, and now I was like, how can we get everybody together? Because man, what a great conversation we could have if a bunch of like-minded people are on the same screen talking versus me just, you know, talking by myself. So again, used my love of technology, because I'm definitely a tech geek, to figure it out. And OBS is a challenge, which is the program that we use to do this. But, you know, I journal and I put it on my vision board all the time. It's going to work for me, and it does. So that's, you know, I'm going to keep doing that. So again, thank you, everybody. This has been amazing. Spending time with all of you is always amazing. And I keep telling people, believe it or not, I am such an introvert, and I love doing this because it just totally totally feeds me because I'm hanging out with the right people when I do this. So I'm going to say goodbye. If anybody has anything they want to add before we go, now's your chance before I hit the end live.
Just goodbye and thank you. Have a wonderful week, year
Happy
ahead.
2025,
So
folks.
much.